In this video, we are going to explore the world of medicinal mushrooms harvested from deep within the Alaska forest. No, not those medicinal mushrooms. We're talking chaga mushroom. Only grows on birch trees and has incredible medicinal properties. Some even claim it can cure cancer. I don't know about all that, but I do know it's delicious and it's worth 80 bucks a pound. And I'm going to show you everything that I know about it, how to collect it, and then of course, how to make your own chaga tea at home. Hi. So I'm up here in Alaska on the Kenai Peninsula in the middle of the winter, which is the best time of year to actually harvest these mushrooms. They grow on birch trees, just like this one back here. But before I show you the actual harvesting of it, if you want to know how to find them yourself, the secret is to know how to identify a birch tree. Birch trees have bark that kind of peels off, almost like paper. All right, check this out. See how that just came right off the tree? This is going to be a birch tree. Pretty much every type of birch tree has this type of bark. Some peel more, some don't. But it's not an aspen tree, it's not a cottonwood tree, it is a birch tree. Sometimes chaga will grow on other species, but the only chaga that's medicinal comes off the birch trees. Best time to harvest it is the winter time, and this is because during the winter, chaga actually absorbs a lot more water from the birch tree. So if you cut into a chaga in the middle of the summer, it's going to be really dry. When we cut into it today, it's going to look like fudge. That consistency, that color, that's what we're going for, that's what we're after. Medicinal uses of chaga include melanin, so it's high in melanin, it's high in vitamin B, vitamin D. I think it's the highest naturally producing, well, it's high in magnesium. I think it's one of the highest natural producers of magnesium in the wild, so you don't even have to take supplements. All you have to do is drink your chaga tea in the morning. It's got zinc in it, it's got iron in it. It's anti-carcinogenic too. There's a couple of studies out there that prove chaga heals liver cancer specifically and reduces tumors in mice. Jury's still out whether or not it cures other cancers in humans, and the jury's still out whether or not it cures tumors in humans, but there's a lot of evidence that says it's pretty helpful and very healthy for you. Some of the side effects of chaga, like anything else, too much of it isn't necessarily good. It has a lot of oxalates in it. If you didn't know what oxalates are, they're found in potatoes and rhubarb, and they actually cause kidney stones. So if you're on a diet of low oxalates, don't recommend chaga tea. That being said, a cup of chaga tea has the same amount of oxalates in it as half a cup of spinach. So really not a lot, as long as you're brewing it. Now if you eat it, there's been a case of renal failure from a guy who was eating chaga powder twice a day. Don't recommend eating it. I recommend making a tea out of it, and that way your body can absorb all of its nutrients a lot easier than you would by by eating it. So definitely don't eat it, but if you absorb it in water, it's totally benign, very healthy, and good for you. A lot of people think it cures seasonal depression because it's so high in vitamins, which is kind of funny if you think about it, because you harvest it in the middle of the winter in Alaska when seasonal depression is at its greatest. So maybe it cures seasonal depression by the medicine and the vitamins that it offers, but for me it cures seasonal depression by forcing me to go outside and do a lot of skiing to go find some. We're going to harvest it sustainably and healthy so the tree doesn't die, the chaga will be just fine. The jury's out. Some people say if you harvest the chaga too much it'll kill the tree, but for what I can tell, the chaga is actually killing the tree. So maybe by reducing the chaga on the tree, we actually increase the lifespan of the tree. It's an oscillating multi-tool. This is the best tool I've found. It allows me to cut vertically into the chaga, into the shelf of the mushroom. There you have it. Nice chunk of chaga. notice how dark that is? When you dry it out, it will get a little bit brighter, but the Alaska variety is really, really dark, and it is the best. So I highly recommend, if you're gonna buy chaga, buy it from Alaska. Got a good haul.
Got a good haul?
Got a good haul.
That's not bad. Whew.
So after you collect the chaga, you bring it home. You need to dry it out because it's full of water, and it really won't last too long when it's wet. So my favorite method to do it is to put it on a drying rack just like this. Now this chaga is actually dry. It took me a couple of days, but you can actually just use a normal house fan. Turn it on and just let the wind blow over the chaga in a cool, dry place, and that will actually take out all the moisture. If speed is of the essence, you want to do this fast, throw it into the oven, lowest temperature 150 degrees, or a food dehydrator, and that should dry it out in a couple of hours. But at the end result, you should have a lighter brown color, and if there's any bark on the outside, the bark will actually peel off pretty easily. And that's the benefits of drying it out. So dry it out and then cut it up into smaller pieces afterward. But you can tell just kind of the color difference from when we first harvested it to now. You got that light brown color. Now the Alaska variety is more of a light brown. I've noticed further down south, like in Canada, it's an orange color. But again, I think this is because there's a lot more nutrients in the Alaskan variety. Now after you dry it out, if you really want it to last a long time, the best method that I found is actually throw it in the freezer, and you can see there's even a little bit of moisture content coming out of here still. And so a freezer is a dehydrator. Like the freezer will pull the liquid out. So put it in a Ziploc bag, leave the Ziploc bag open for a couple of days, a couple of weeks. It's not going to go bad in there, and then that'll draw out the moisture. And when you stop noticing moisture content on the inside of the bag, zip it up and store it, deep freeze it, or send it to friends and relatives. So once you have the chaga mushroom harvested and dried, take a couple of days, but it's going to look like this. This is a flat piece of the fungus. It's basically birch tree that's been infected with this chaga mushroom, this fungus, and it turns a lot of the medicinal qualities of the birch tree into an easier way for us to digest. And that's kind of the miracle of chaga. Well, you take a chunk about this size is all you need, and then probably about a medium-sized pot of water. And this method is considered aqueous extraction. So we're using the water to extract the medicinal properties from the mushroom. And you want as much surface area as possible to help the water basically boil out anything that's of value. I like to just break this up. So now this much chaga will produce 4 batches. So this much water 4 separate times. And the first batch might only take an hour or two. What you're looking for is turning the water an opaque black. It kind of looks like a pot of coffee. And now the additional batches that you make with it, it will take you longer to actually extract more of the nutrients, but it will extract them, but you just might have to simmer it for 3-4 hours. That's okay. 3-4 hours is generally the time, but the first batch is the only one that's going to be quick. So you throw these in, and we're going to bring this water to a boil. And as you can see, the water's clear. It just looks like we have basically some pieces of wood floating around in it, but that's okay. Put the lid on it, and then we're going to wait a couple hours, come back, take a look at it, see what it looks like then. Let's take a look inside, see what it looks like. It's been boiling for a couple hours now, and that's exactly what we want to see. Look at that dark brown color, opaque. So I went ahead and poured myself a glass. You can see that this is not see-through. This is opaque. This is the color that we're looking for. Drink it hot, drink it cold. I like to cut it with my coffee, half chaga, half coffee. Ooh, it is good too. It tastes really good. It kind of tastes like coffee, which is insane because it comes from a birch tree. But anyway, that's delicious. I highly recommend it. If you guys are watching this video, I want you all to go out there, go into the woods near your house, go find yourself some chaga. If you don't have any chaga by you, buy some. I'll probably have some for sale on the website. So you, by all means, buy it for me if you can't find it yourself. That's A-okay with me. And if you like this video, share, like, subscribe. And I don't know what else is coming up next, guys, but there's fishing, hunting, I don't know, maybe how to cut down a tree. I've been cutting down a lot of trees, so stay tuned to the channel. A lot more stuff on the way. Oh, that's good.